Part of ensuring quality sewing on all of your projects is using the right needle. And today we're going to talk through each of the leather needles that Sailrite offers so that you can make the best choice for your next leather project. We offer 5 types of leather needles, and we're going to briefly talk about what makes each unique and what type of leather to use with each. And so you may be wondering, why do I need to buy separate leather needles for sewing leather? Well, the answer is how leather reacts to sewing. You see, standard sewing machine needles such as ballpoint needles are designed to push material fibers out of the way to make stitches. They can do that because most materials that you'd use a standard needle on are woven or knit, and the fibers can mostly return to where they were after the stitch is made, effectively closing the hole around the new stitch. But leather isn't self-healing like woven materials are. Once you make a hole in leather, it's there to stay. So the sewing machine needle needs to cut the leather instead. Leather needles are made with sharp cutting tips to smoothly sew the material. Now that you know why leather needles are important, let's go over the types of needles that you're going to find at Sailrite. The first one is the round point needle. This is the most common needle type. It features a sharp point that can be used for all general sewing. When sewing leather with the round point needle, stick with soft upholstery leathers. Second, there is the triangular point leather needle. This specialty needle has a sharp 3-sided cutting point. The clean triangular holes that this needle cuts in leather result in a straight seam with slightly elevated stitches. The triangular point needle is ideal for thick or hard leather, and it's best to sew medium to long stitches with this needle type. Next, we have the DI leather needle. This needle also has a sharp cutting point, this time in the shape of a diamond. This needle sews straight, neat-looking seams with recessed stitches. Because of its large, aggressive cutting tip, a DI needle is optimized for sewing thick, dry, and hard leather. When using this needle, it's important to sew medium to long stitches. Because of how the needle tip is oriented, sewing short stitches would result in the needle holes being so close together that you'd basically create a perforation line in the leather. You'd run the risk of accidentally tearing the leather along the stitch line. So stick to medium to long stitches with this needle type. Our fourth needle type is the twist point. If you're looking for an alternative to hand stitching your leather pieces, the twist point leather needle is the way to go. This needle has a sharp, oval-shaped cutting point that is twisted at a 45-degree angle from the eye. This twist makes S-shaped stitch holes, and the stitches will be slightly elevated. The twist point needle is great for decorative seams. That's because the slanted stitches actually mimic the look of hand sewing, so you can still get the artisanal handcrafted look that you want in a much shorter time frame. This needle is best for sewing short to medium length stitches, and we would recommend using it in light to medium hard leathers. Lastly, we have the perpendicular point leather needle. And as the name suggests, the perpendicular needle has a wide, sharp cutting surface that lies perpendicular to the direction of sewing. Although its point is oval-shaped, the stitch holes look like wide, short rectangles. Because of this, perpendicular needles are the best choice for sewing very short stitches, up to 8 stitches per inch, without making a perforation line. This needle type results in a decorative seam of slanted stitches. You can use it to sew light to heavier leather. And that's a brief overview of the different types of leather needles that Sailrite offers, and why it's important to specifically use leather needles for leather applications. If you're interested in any of our needles, make sure to check the link in the description below to learn more. And if you want to see more Sailrite products in action, make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you'll never miss one of our videos.